What's up guys, it's your man I Do It Barber back with another product review, and today we are reviewing the Stylecraft Apex. Now, this is an interesting review. We're gonna go through a lot of stuff. One, obviously, the contents of this box and the specs. We're gonna do a slight unboxing. I'll go over the pros and cons, and then ultimately, is this clipper a cop? Is this a go? Is this a buy? And then of course, later I have to tease you guys with another product that Stylecraft sent me that I've been working with the last week or two. Yeah, we'll talk about that thing later. And before we get further into the review, this clipper comes in around $229 on Amazon. There will be a link in the description below to this clipper if you want to buy it. And of course, there's a Shop Amazon link if you want to help support the channel and make any of your purchases through Amazon at no extra charge to you. That can help the channel out that way. And also smashing that like button. So again, links in the description below for Amazon if you want to buy this clipper. The Apex. Now, I got the blue. This also comes in red. It's more of like maybe a royal red or a candy red. As you can see, the shiny look. Surprised once I teased this on Instagram. A lot of people are like, oh, I like the blue, I like the blue. So I'm surprised people actually like the blue. I'm not a big fan of this color blue, but cool. Now, as you can see, there's a little bit of chipping. You see the paint is chipping. You see it's also chipping on the lever. You can see that there's a little bit of paint chipping. Now that's something that you are gonna have to come to expect for the long term if you buy this clipper. So I know a lot of these colors are cute and cool and right, but over time they're gonna wear out. Now I've only had this clipper for maybe a month, maybe, and this is what I've gotten already. So you know, buyer beware if that's something you really care about. Me personally, I don't. Now, contents on the inside of this. You get the charging base, pretty much standard, right? You need some way to charge it. Some companies don't give you a base, they just give you the cable. Me, I don't care. I'm not a big fan of bases because not everyone has tons of room on the station, and then who wants to take up all the room in your station with bases? It's just ridiculous. But ultimately, that's why you have the 245 power mat or the power box. Now, they give you this clear case. Now, I've tried to put the entire clear case on this Apex, but there was a little gap in the seams. Oh, uh-oh. There's a little gap in the seams, so I took it off. Now, I would have liked that better than the blue, but I've noticed you can take off this little clear section here and replace it, and you can show the motor that way, and I know some people like to do that. Now, other contents in the box, you get the black dub guards. You also get the power cable, which you can cut with this thing with the cable if you like. You get the tool, and you get some other little accessories with, if you can see there closely, you see, the stretch bracket. So you get a stretch bracket. Now, in full disclosure, when I receive clippers, I don't like to do too many modifications to them. Meaning, changing blades, you know, putting on stretch bracket, etc., etc. I prefer to just use it how they sent it to me. I'll zero gap it, of course, but that's it. Now, let's go into some of the other specs on this clipper. So, you get a 4-hour runtime. That's amazing. And a cordless clipper. Super torque motor. Now this motor, it says it's a Japanese rotary motor, which we're gonna go into that a little bit in the pros and cons. And that's really about it. You get the black DLC carbon blade. Now let's talk about this blade for a second. This is the same blade that you get with the Ergo, or at least from the looks of it, right? Because now, let me just give you fair warning. Yes, this is a Rebel. The Rebel does not come with this blade I'm showing you that's on this Rebel. This was the blade that came on my Ergo. I just decided to put it on the Rebel. But let's just look. Those look pretty much the same. Don't see much difference between these blades. So I'm gonna naturally assume that these are the same blade, the steel blade. Now, the cutting blade is where that differs from the Ergo, because the Ergo, you do get, actually this is the one that came with the Ergo. I don't know if you can see that, but you get that little shallow cutting blade. But with the Apex, you get the deep cutter. If you can see that, I hope you can see that clearly. You get the deep cutter with the Apex. Now, again, we'll go to a little bit more of that in the pros and cons. But those are the general specs of the clipper. Now let's get into those pros and cons. Now we'll start off with the pro. A pro of this clipper is it doesn't get hot. Obviously it's a cordless clipper and it cuts really well. Clipper over comb is amazing with this clipper. I've tried clipper over comb with the Masters blades, the blade that came on the Rebel, the blade that came on the Ergo. I don't know what it is, but it works with this clipper. With this clipper, it actually works. It's so smooth with clipper over comb. It's almost like if let's say I'm using the Master and I need to use clipper over comb. Sometimes I would just reach in and grab this because I'm like, wow, that's amazing. It just cuts really smooth. I've noticed with some of the others, it just doesn't go through the hair smoothly. It leaves kind of those jagged ridges, but with this one, just nice and smooth for clipper over comb. Con, I didn't like the lever initially. So as you can see this lever, it kind of looks like a kickstand for a motorcycle. It's really wide. Warning, potential buyer. This clipper, it's a little wide through there, if you can see that there. And then, you look at the Rebel, really small, right? Compared to the Apex. Ergo, small compared to the Apex. And look at the lever, normal, right? But with this one, it has that kickstand. Now, when you're holding this, now it depends on how you fade, right? If you put in the open lever, 1-inch guideline, and let's say you work your way down, you're gonna have to come all the way around here, boom, boom. You're gonna have to arch your thumb. You're gonna have to put a lot of stress on your wrist to get that action done. Luckily me, I put in the line, open lever, but then I close it immediately and then bump it up to the second or third notch and I'm done. So essentially I'm pushing down, boom, boom, instead of coming up, having to do this and then reach around. If you have small hands, and I don't have small hands, but I don't have big hands, I can see how that could be a potential problem, and especially how that lever design is. You can see the lever design is really out there. It looks like a motorcycle kickstand. Now, another pro of this clipper, as I told you in the unboxing, 4-hour runtime. That is absolutely amazing. For some of you barbers, you might be able to go through this entire clipper your entire workday and not have to charge this thing at all. Now, of course, you get the base and you get a cord. From what I see, there's no micro USB on this one like you see with the Rebel. So I don't know if there's a plan for that in the future. So no micro USB, which again, I'm not gonna harp on that too much because with micro USB, it's cool because it's so easy and it's easy to disconnect, but it's damn near impossible to cut with that micro USB cable attached to your clipper because it's so flimsy it'll fall off. It's just a magnet. Duh. Pro, the construction of this clipper is actually pretty good. The power switch feels solid, the lever feels solid. It's an all metal housing, for crying out loud. If you don't like someone, you can use this as a weapon. So in that regard, with the Pro, there comes a con. It's heavy. Now, it almost reminds me of a corded Master with the weight of it. And for those of you who have tried the corded Master, you guys probably know the first time you've ever used it, your shoulder was in pain. There's a lot of work involved using the clipper. And of course, like anything, we're humans, we adapt, we adjust, and we get used to things. So it is definitely something you will get used to. Don't fret, don't worry that, oh, it's too heavy, I don't know if I can do it. Man the hell up, okay? It's just a clipper that's slightly heavy. So the metal construction housing is great. The sound of the clipper is a pro. You can hear that there, right? So you hear that? I'm doing that there. You hear that? Sounds a little weird, but I wouldn't say worry too much. Versus the sound of the Rebel. I don't know if you guys just caught what just happened there with the Rebel. I turned it on, but the clipper didn't turn on. That is something I've noticed happens with these two clippers. And I was actually so curious if that would actually happen while I did this product review, and it did, and I'm so glad it did. So you guys actually saw what happened. You can go ahead and rewind a little bit and point out the time where I turned on the lever and it didn't turn on. That happens with these clippers. I don't know why it is. It's never happened, never happened with the Ergo, but with these two clippers, that has happened to me on numerous occasions where I'll turn it on and it won't turn on, and I have to turn it back off and on. So, I mean, it's ultimately is never turned off and never turned back on, but that's just one of those things that's, it's kind of annoying because it's like, oh, okay, boom, boom, all right, we're good. It's kind of annoying. It happens to me, if I'm using this thing enough, it happens to me at least once a day, at least, and you saw it just happened now. So the sound again. So you see, it's a little louder with the Rebel, and I'm not gonna lie to you, me using the Rebel, now when I use this, I exclusively use this, and I had to turn the clipper off to have conversations because people were like, huh. It's really loud. Now let's look at that versus the Rebel, or I mean the Ergo. Slightly comparable to the Ergo, not that loud, and that's another thing that I like about it, because sometimes with cordless clippers, for you to get this much power, this much runtime, there are some sacrifices that have to be made. Fortunately for this one, they're not there. Now, a con of this clipper is it is slow cutting. Even though it says super torque motor, Japanese rotary motor, it cuts slow. So taking down bulk is not like the Rebel. The Rebel will take down bulk like an absolute champion. This one doesn't. However, it does, but you cannot work at the same pace that you work with the Rebel. Now, I'm not sure if they put the same motor here. I'm gonna say they didn't, because based on the feel, this Rebel is light, absolutely light. Reminds me of a Magic Clip. Very, very light. And, well, the Rebel is light. This one's heavy. Now, I'm gonna assume they use a different motor, and like I say, it cuts down bulk, but you have to work at a slower pace. So if you're one of those quick barbers that likes to, you're like this guy. No, you're not doing that with the Apex. You're probably gonna be pulling some people's hair. Now, when I should have disclosed this at the beginning, but when I got this clipper, I actually exclusively used this clipper only for 2 weeks. I forced myself to use the wall guards, which, as you guys know, I hate using the wall guards on black people. I think they don't cut well for black people. I prefer the double magnetics, and using my Ergo with the Andis Master Blade and potentially the Fat Master Blade. I have, 2 of those. So this thing, I'm actually very surprised, because I actually tried to do that with the Rebel. I tried to exclusively use this one for, what, 2 weeks or whatever. But then I quickly resorted to using the Masters. And I was just like, I can't do it. I can't. So when I did this one, I was just like, hey guys, I'm just gonna use this one. It's good. And I was pleasantly surprised. Now, look, like I said, I don't know if it's the configuration of the motor, the blade combination, or what it is, because as you all know, I've used all 3 of these, right? I've used all 3, and I've got different results out of all 3. Like the Rebel, or I'm sorry, the Ergo, but it didn't cut down bulk well, and it did pull, right? And I was like, okay, yeah, it does have some limitations. Then I got the Rebel, and I was like, oh wow, it cuts down bulk well, different blade, still pulls, great for fading because it's quick, but it's also loud. But with this one, it was like, wow, you get the blade with the deep cutting blade. And here's another pro. And I thought I would never say this or find a clipper where this was not an issue. It doesn't pull. I tried to make it happen intentionally, right? I put this thing in scenarios where, yeah, this should pull in this scenario. It did not pull. Now, I have a few clients that I know certain clippers would pull on them, whether it's the Rebel or the Ergo with the fade blades on them, and they pull. This clipper does not pull. I never thought I would find a clipper in a fade blade, right? Because look, let's be honest, this Andis Master with the taper blade, it has never pulled on me. But clippers with fade blades, like the wall fade blade, it pulled on me. I'm surprised it didn't pull. Reason, because again, like I told you guys earlier, this is the Ergo blade on my Rebel. This is the same blade. Difference is, obviously, with the Ergo, you get a magnetic motor. This one, you have a rotary motor and different cutting blade. Now, I remember people telling me that put the Deep Tooth cutting blade in the Ergo, it's a game changer. I didn't do it, but maybe that's what it is. And I don't know. Stylecraft might have one with this one. And I was shocked because I went through all these haircuts over the, first couple weeks of using this exclusively. Now, in full disclosure also, I did have to go and grab the Fat Master a couple times, literally 2 times. I had to grab the Fat Master because again, that wall guard system, pain in the ass, because I was like, dude, I can just get through this way quicker. Let me just grab the Fat Master and boom, 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 street sweeper. Let's just get this over and done with, all right? So that is a major pro. Now, I don't know if any of you have tried this clipper. Let me know. Have you seen this thing pull? You guys let me know in the comments below if it has pulled. But for me, and again, like I say, I've tried this on clients that I know these other clippers have pulled and it doesn't. Which another pro is this thing is excellent for fading. It cuts slower. It's not like the Rebel where it's like boom, boom, boom. It does cut a little slower. So for the person who likes fading, or maybe you're, a little nervous or up and coming, this is a good clipper for you. And even me, I'm the professional, right? I'm pretty good I would like to say I'm pretty good at fading at this point. I can still navigate this clipper. And it honestly reminds me of a fast feed in the way that it cuts. And now, I've only used a fast feed once in my life. And if you guys remember the video I did, fast feeds versus magic clips versus masters, where I used 3 quadrants of the head and I used each clipper to fade to see what's the difference. Like, is it any one better than the other? I'll try to leave a link to that in the description below. Also, there will be a link in the description to this on Amazon if you want to purchase this. This comes in at around $229. $229, guys. But it reminds me of the fast feed and the way that it cuts a little bit slower, and it's not quick, but the blends come out really well with this clipper. So ultimately, that leads us to the ultimate question. Is this a cop? Is this a go? Is this a major buy? And in my opinion, it is. This thing is a go. This is a cop. This is a major buy. Now look, I've said that about the Ergo, right? And I truly believe that it is. I said that this is a cop in the Rebel. And I think it is. It serves a purpose for that type of barber, right? If you want something that cuts down bulk, it cuts pretty good. Of course, it pulls, but it cuts good, it fades well, and you get all the speed and power out of this clipper. This is good for someone, but this is also good for someone out there that's looking for a clipper like this. Now, I know the Saber has this same shape as like the gold thing. I don't know what the difference is in the Saber and this one. I don't know, but you guys can let me know in the comments below. Of course, don't forget to like and subscribe on your way out. It's been your man, I Do It Barber, signing out. I'll holla. Oh, before I go, I actually put up the camera and I was ready to wrap this whole shoot up. But yes, remember I was teasing this at the beginning of the video? Yeah, there will be a review coming on this very soon. And as you guys know, I'm a Bronze Series 7 guy. I've been using these things for years. I have like 5 extra shaving head attachments, but they sent me this and boy, I swear, I mean, they sent me some things that I didn't really like too well, like the Uno, but this thing, I like this shaver. Actually, I really like this shaver. We'll talk more about this later. Yeah.